Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live from the North Jersey studios. It is Thursday evening, May 18th, 2017. Welcome to the 45th episode of the Nico Chronicles. As always, I am the one, the only Nico Saraceno. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's fantastic to be back. I took a week off between episode 44 and 45. So last episode was May 4th. May 4th, 2017 was the last episode before this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As I said, it's very good to be back. Very good. I was yearning for it as I fix my hair in the reflection here. If you guys want to tune in to episode 45, you can visit facebook.com/The Nico Chronicles. That is the direct link to the Facebook live stream on the TNC Facebook page. You can also catch it at thenicochronicles.wix.com/The Nico Chronicles for the stream. And of course, you can always call in and listen or chat with me at 701-801-2251. And you can go ahead and press 5 if you want to speak to me. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. We got plenty to discuss tonight. There's a lot I want to get to. Obviously, it's like 2 weeks worth. So it's been a little bit of a struggle to decide where to start, but I think it would be best to do first things first. Netflix was a big topic for episode 44, so I just want to address that. For those of you guys who tuned in on episode 44, I discussed my newly found obsession with that show, 13 Reasons Why, actually. And I'm proud to say that I'm officially done with it. So, Ryan, if you do end up seeing this, I didn't finish it in a week. I didn't make it till last week. I actually watched, later last week, I watched the season finale. I heard it's coming back for the second season, though, which is cool. So, I'm all done. Shout out to my mom, by the way, who's tuning in on Facebook Live. I'm all done with 13 Reasons Why, and I gotta say, it was very interesting. I'm honestly a little disappointed. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I was a little disappointed the way it ended. There's, it leaves a lot of room for the imagination. It leaves viewers with a lot to think about, because I don't want to spoil it, but for those of you who do know the premise to it, it doesn't really show how the people involved are actually punished. You know, some of the consequences are revealed, but not everyone's story or end result is really told. So I'm assuming they're going to get into the specifics when it comes to season 2. And I'm patiently awaiting the release date of that. You know, obviously, this season didn't come out that long ago, but that's the thing about binge watching these things. You go through them so fast that you're like left wanting more, and when it's not there, you're like, what do I do? You know, but it was a good show. I'm looking forward to the second season. And speaking of second seasons, for those of you Aziz Ansari fans, he's a very hilarious comedian. For those of you who are Aziz Ansari fans, Master of None season 2 came out last Friday, May 12th. And yeah, I already finished it, guys. Very good. That also left me wanting more. The first few episodes take place in Italy. The main character, Dev, who's played by Aziz Ansari, he travels to Italy for about 3 months, makes pasta, lives the life, meets a lot of cool people, you know, gets to know the locals really well. It's pretty cool. And he speaks Italian really well. I was talking about this with my sister the other day. He speaks Italian surprisingly well. And the thing is, these episodes are literally like 25 to 30 minutes. So you can breeze through them like that. So there was only 10 episodes to the second season, which was a little disappointing, to be honest with you. But I can only imagine the production time and the filming time for something like that. So that's another good show. It's essentially completely different than 13 Reasons Why. But essentially what it's about, it's this guy who lives in New York City for the most part, and it just follows his life. He's an actor trying to make it big, and it talks about his daily life with his family, friends, parents, relationships. It's pretty much just your everyday life. So it's a nice little perspective, which I thought was cool. You don't get too many of those like simple shows nowadays. Everyone's trying to impress and make an impression and kind of get viewers. This is a good show. I highly recommend it. I mean, I may be a little biased since I watched it, but check it out. Master of None, seasons 1 and 2, very good series. And by the way, shout out to my niece Enza. Happy 5 weeks. I love you, Enza. She was born 5 weeks ago today. So shout out to her. She's getting big. Little girl is getting big with all that formula she's drinking. So shout out to my niece. But let's get to the gravy, shall we? I know it's I've been talking about NBA a lot lately, and that's because it's the main staple besides the NHL playoffs. So NBA playoffs, there's been a lot going on. A lot going on with the NBA playoffs. Only 4 teams remaining, so we're in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals. So in the West, Spurs, Golden State Warriors. East, Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers. So literally the top 2 seeds in both respective conferences. There's been a lot going around. There's been a lot being said about the status of the NBA nowadays. A lot of fans are complaining, and even experts and, broadcasters on various sports networks. They're talking about how predictable the league is and how top-heavy and boring it is because, I mean, not that the series are necessarily over right now, but the way they're going, it's going to shape up to be another Cavs-Warriors matchup. Which, I guess if you're a fan, nothing wrong with it, but it just, the disparity, the separation between them and the rest of the league is insane. I mean, I was watching DA, Damon Amendolara, who's got a show on CBS Sports Network. He was talking about that disparity. And it's true. Who can really catch up to the Cavs and the Warriors in terms of the NBA? Any other teams, such as the Celtics, the Jazz, teams like that, there's a considerable gap in between the top 2 teams. So, I mean, if you're a Golden State or a Cleveland fan, that's good for you. But besides that, people got to be patient. Because you look at the series now, Golden State and San Antonio, the Warriors, they take care of business at home. They lead 2-0 in the series. But there's been a lot going on. There's been quite a storyline. If you guys were watching the game, actually, in Game 1, Kawhi Leonard gets injured in the third quarter, I think it was, of a controversial play. Zaza Pachulia of the Warriors, when he was closing out for the jumper, Kawhi Leonard was shooting a corner 3. Zaza Pachulia jumps into Leonard's shooting zone and injures his ankle. Leonard's ankle. Pretty much lands on him. And consequently, what happens? Leonard goes out the rest of the game, and he's out. He was out Game 2. Now, Game 1's interesting, as I just look at the scores here. Game 1's interesting because the final score, Warriors obviously won, but look at the score, guys. 113 or 111 was the final score of that game. The Spurs led a majority of the way, actually. Their largest lead was 25 points. You don't think that injury to Kawhi Leonard made a difference? I mean, you can't be 100% sure, but you got to assume it had some sort of impact, obviously. Kawhi Leonard is undoubtedly the Spurs' best player. Although you can make the argument, sure. LaMarcus Aldridge has been doing extremely well after struggling against Portland in the second round. You can make that argument. No Tony Parker there. Manu Ginobili, he's not the same player as he was. He's pushing 40. I love Manu to death, but coming off the bench, his production is just, he's been coming off the bench a while, but his production has not been the same these past few years. You've got to admit that. So Kawhi Leonard goes down. Spurs essentially blow the lead. Warriors, who have been doing it all season, I mean, they're very good. They're good at coming from behind, coming back from deficits, although it doesn't happen often, honestly. But they were able to do it. They ride the momentum, and game 2 without Leonard. Look at this final score, guys. 136 to 100. I mean, really? Talk about lopsided. This is the thing. First round of the playoffs, sure. 1 versus 8 kind of game, 2 versus 7. You expect that. When you have the top team in the league versus the last team to make the playoffs, you're going to expect there to be some point differential. But this is the Western Conference Finals, for crying out loud. This is literally number 1 versus 2. This is supposed to be as even as it gets, besides the NBA Finals. This is the 2 best teams in the West. Yeah, I know I'm saying the obvious, but just to put it a little context, I'll add a little context to it. Okay? So 2 best teams in the conference. Spurs end up getting blown out by 36 at Oracle. And again, that's because Kawhi Leonard. He brings you not only the points, but the intangibles, such as the hustle, the aggression, the defense, the steals. That guy's hands are massive. I don't know the measurements, but they're like, I'm pretty sure they're comparable to like Hakeem Nicks's hands of the New York Giants, or formerly of the New York Giants. That guy's like hand size was insane. Probably, I think it was over a foot long, if I'm not mistaken. Like a subway foot long, so pretty sick. So, I mean, I think that series is on its way to being all but over. You never know what's going to happen at AT&T Center, but it's tough in general. Do people come back from 2-0 deficits? Sure. It wouldn't be the first time, and I won't be surprised if I jinx it, but if the Warriors continue to putting their foot on the gas pedal, it's going to be tough. But you know what was really funny about this? Well, not really funny, but interesting. On Tuesday of this week, after that Zaza Pachulia incident, a San Antonio Spur fan, actually, he filed a lawsuit against the Golden State Warriors and Zaza Pachulia. Okay, they released this online. The lawsuits runs about like 13 pages, if you include like the signatures and all that stuff. 13 pages-ish. He's filing for no more than $73,000. No more than $73K. Okay, I didn't read it word for word, but it's got to be quite the lawsuit. It's from what I skimmed, it talks about Vasquez's how much of a fan he is of the San Antonio Spurs, how long he's been going to the AT&T Center, watching them play and all this stuff, how loyal he is to the team. This just kind of shows that you can literally sue for anything. You can sue for anything, but the question is, are you going to win? Unless you have a reasonable case and evidence to back it up, quite frankly, probably not. So this seemed to be kind of for entertainment value. I don't see how Juan Vasquez, this San Antonio Spurs fan, I don't know how he's actually going to win. But nonetheless, I thought that was pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens with that status. I'm sure when it comes to legal matters, these things take a while to play themselves out. So I'm sure this won't be the last time we hear about that. But Game 3 of that series, not for a while because they want to catch up with the East. Game 3 slated for Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So check that out if you guys are near a TV. And now to the Eastern Conference, Cavs and Celtics. I just want to acknowledge that LeBron James is just taking over these playoff series. I think I alluded to it May 4th in episode 44, but LeBron is just on a whole nother level, guys. This is redonkulous, okay? Game 1 last night was not even close to... The final score does not indicate how much of a blowout it was. Okay, the Cavs won 117-104. Not to mention, they're the number 2 seed. I was watching ESPN the other day, and Tim Legler was talking about it, that it's almost unheard of that the Celtics, who are the number 1 seed, playing at home, are the underdog against a lower seed, which is number 2 in the Cavs. How often do you hear that the top seed in the East is the underdog in a playoff series? Not very often. So, that was very interesting. LeBron James and Kevin Love, just to throw some stats at you guys, combined for 70 points out of those 117. Okay, LeBron, 38 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Kevin Love, quite a stat line as well, 32 points, 12 rebounds. So, dang. Kevin Love has been stepping up. Kyrie Irving was fairly quiet, 11 points. Tristan Thompson, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. So this kind of just shows how stacked the Cleveland Cavaliers are. I was talking about this with a coworker today, actually. Like, let's look at their bench real quick. Okay, Kyle Korver, who's a starter on any other team. He was with the Hawks, I believe, for the longest time. Darren Williams, former All-Star. You know, we saw him on the Jazz, on the Nets. A bit injury-prone, but he's got a lot of upside when he's healthy. Okay. And who else? J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is quite a player. He also scored 10 plus points. Iman Shumpert with the awesome high top fade. He's also coming off the bench, which is ridiculous to even think about because they have so many players. Okay. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on, quite frankly. And I just want to pause for a second. I'm sorry if I slow down there, but my hefty laptop wow, it is super hot. My hefty laptop decided to shut down again. So super cute of my laptop to do that. But nonetheless, the show must go on. We will continue here on Facebook Live. But the Cavs are stacked, guys. More of the story, their bench can be a starting squad on a lot of other teams. So it's pretty crazy to think that, quite honestly. And Boston, I mean, they're a good team too. They just don't have the firepower, quite frankly. I mean, Jake Crowder led the team yesterday in scoring. Okay, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Avery Bradley, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. And Isaiah Thomas, he had a nice stat line too. He had a double-double, 17 points, 10 assists. But it's just not going to cut it against the Cavs when they're on their game. Especially when LeBron's playing well. Very hard to stop. So, Game 2 of that series, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. That's Friday, May 19th. Friday, May 19th of that series. So, very, very interesting indeed. Two exciting teams playing, but their opponents not very exciting, unfortunately. So I guess we'll have to wait. Assuming those teams, just the way this is playing out, quite honestly, guys. I kind of spoke about this earlier. I don't see either of these series going more than 6 games. Golden State, San Antonio, maybe 5 or 6. The Boston, Cleveland series, no more than 5 in my opinion. So, let's just say I'm looking forward to the NBA Finals. Quite honestly. And for those of you fans whose teams are not in the playoffs, since there's only 4 teams remaining, the NBA Draft Lottery was 2 days ago. Okay, congratulations to the Boston Celtics, who, with the number 1 seed in the East, are going to be getting the number 1 pick in the NBA Draft this year. How, might you ask, is that possible? Well, thanks to my team, the Brooklyn Nets, aka formerly the New Jersey Nets, Mr. Mikhail Prokhorov decided to try to make a blockbuster deal back in 2013 when he acquired Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. Remember that? He got Jason Terry. That was when Jason Kidd was coach. And remember that big trade he did? Well, that ended up costing them because they traded 3 future first-round picks And now the Celtics are getting a number 1 pick because the Nets finished last in the league. That would have been the Nets pick. And all the Nets fans are really kicking themselves in the foot right now. Or in the butt, I should say. But luckily, that's the last pick that the Nets have to give up. So if they have another horrible season, they should get a top first round pick. But this year, the Celtics are going to cash in big. And there's a lot of debate going around. Do they pick up Lonzo Ball, the projected top pick from UCLA? Do they pick up the top pick? Or do they decide, oh, let's try to trade this top pick for an established player in the league? Now that's quite a conundrum to be in. I've heard some speculation, actually, that this offseason they could try to acquire Utah Jazz guard. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Gordon Hayward. There we go. He played at Butler. He almost won the game. He almost won the NCAA championship game against Duke a few years ago. You guys remember that guy? He's a solid player. And he put in work in his series against the Warriors, too. So credit to him. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know what Danny Ainge is thinking. I don't think they need another point guard, quite honestly. Isaiah Thomas is their future there. And they got A.B. Bradley as well. And a couple other rookies, I believe, as well. So it's going to be interesting because Boston has the first pick, followed by, the LA Lakers. So in the Ball family, Lonzo Ball, his dad LeVar, they're pushing hard for LA Lakers. Lonzo refusing to work out with any other teams except the Los Angeles Lakers. So he's in it to win it. He wants to stay home. He played at UCLA, as I said, so he wouldn't have to travel too far to the Staples Center. The question is, are they going to get him? I mean, with Magic Johnson being the president of operations, I would assume so. You never know. But that'd be a pretty cool storyline. Staying in LA. D'Angelo Russell has been questionable in terms of his leadership skills and at the point guard position. So I'm excited to see how that unfolds. It's going to be interesting. And just to run down the top 10 real quick. So Celtics and Lakers at 1 and 2 respectively. Followed by the Sixers, Suns, Kings, Magic, T-Wolves at number 7, which is pretty good. They were a decent team this year. The poor Knicks. Knicks are at number 8. You got to assume they get rid of Melo this offseason with the Phil Jackson drama. Knicks at 8. Dallas Mavericks at 9. And the Sacramento Kings round out the top 10. So, very interesting. Notice how the Nets are not even in there because of the draft pick situation. So we'll see how that plays out with the NBA draft. But first we got to get through the NBA first. We got to get through the NBA playoffs. I'm just excited for the NBA finals, quite honestly. As I said, I'm 90% in on the fact that it's going to be Cavs Warriors. Only because I'm not convinced otherwise that either of their opponents, I respect them greatly and they did great all season, but it's just tough. It's just a formidable foe. They just don't have enough weapons and firepower to counterattack. Quite honestly. And Celtics have more of a shot. How do they respond at home in Game 2 with their backs against the wall? You best believe Isaiah Thomas is going to try to lead them. He's going to try to rally them, give a good pep talk. I'm sure Brad Stevens, too. He's a heck of a coach. But with LeBron James out there, he's another coach on the floor. He's like the Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, if you want to make a football comparison. He's out there literally counterattacking Brad Stevens, going against his coaching scheme. I mean, Tyronn Lue of the Cavs, he's a heck of a coach too, but when you have LeBron out there executing those plays directly on the floor in real game time, quite honestly, it's hard to stop. So, it's entertaining. It's just a bit predictable right now. So, we'll wait and see to the finals, but thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 45. It's been a real pleasure as always. Be sure to tune in next week, May 25th, for episode 46. Thank you guys to everyone who tuned in on the Facebook live stream. I love all of you guys. Until next time, guys, enjoy your Thursday evening. Have yourselves a fabulous weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon.